Oh, hello. Welcome to Gourmet, the channel where I cook my way through all the cookbooks I own and have never used. We are on to our last of the Disney cookbooks. We're using the official Disney Parks Cookbook, and today we'll be making Walt's Chili and Beans. This is what it looks like. This is from, let's see, I should know this. This is the current version at the Carnation Café on Main Street, USA in Disneyland. So it sounds like it's probably not what the actual recipe is. I know somewhere in one of the parks there's like a plaque with the recipe, but this looks like it's a play on the recipe, so I don't know. I felt like chili today is really what it is. So let's get started. So we start out this recipe by browning some stew meat. This is kind of an interesting take on chili because it's not all just ground beef. They have like beef for stew meat, like stew meat in there. What's the word? I'm reading this and I'm confused. But like stew beef in the recipe as well, which I think is interesting. So we need, what is it? Let me read. We need 3/4 of a pound of stew meat. This 1.17 pounds is the smallest part I could find. I'm just going to use all of it. This is going to be a meat heavy version because I'm not measuring out exactly what they need. If I could have found less, I probably would have, but I didn't. So we've had a couple tablespoons of olive oil heating for a couple minutes. It's probably not hot enough. I didn't think so. But we're going to go ahead and add in the stew beef, and we're just going to heat this all together until it's brown on all sides. The cookbook specifies exactly 10 minutes. I will probably not do 10 minutes. I'm not going to time it. I'm just going to feel it out. I am trying to purposefully put it all in one layer, though, so I might have to do 1 or 2 batches. I'll definitely have to do 2. That's probably as much as I can fit in here. But yeah, so we're just going to brown this on all sides. Pretty easy. I've never had chili like this. We're working with our second batch of meat, but while we do that, I'm going to go ahead and get the next ingredient ready. We need, it says a small onion and a medium green pepper. However, I'm also missing an ingredient, which is onion powder. So I'm using this, which is probably more of a medium onion, but it is the smaller of the onions I found at the store. So, hey, it is what it is, right? Like, we're just doing our best. And we do need to go ahead and get this diced. So I'm just going to get this peeled. So I'm going to just turn the heat to low. I'm going to get the meat out because we don't want to, like, I guess, cook it all the way. We're just browning it, getting that flavor. And then we have oil in here still. Now, the book says that you're supposed to add 2 more tablespoons of oil, but I think that's still quite a bit of oil. So, I'm not doing that. And then with our onion, I'm going to probably chop it more than dice it than anything. But that's just because that's kind of how I want it. I mean, look, if you were to ask anybody, that all right there, that looks like pretty chopped or pretty diced onion. It's just not small dices, it's big. But let me go ahead, before I add all the onion in, I'm still going to let that oil cool off a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and chop the next piece of our onion. And I'm going to go ahead and just plop that in there. It's going to cook a little extra, but that's okay. Let's get this in there. Ah, perfect. And now we need a medium green pepper, which I'm realizing I forgot to get out of the fridge. So let me do that real quick. Our green pepper. And we need to go ahead and dice this as well. I'm going to try something different. I saw a video online where they cut their pepper like this. They cut off the top and the bottom. And then they basically made a cut on the side. And they rolled it out by cutting it. I don't know. I don't know if I like this or not. It's supposed to give you a lot less seeds, which it did in a way. But I don't know. I think anything of it really. I, I guess it did give me less seeds, but I don't know. I guess I don't feel one way or the other about it. I just thought I'd try it. I figured this is like the perfect time to try it because it is, you know, this is the first pepper I've seen since I saw that video. Now I'm just gonna chop this. This is also supposed to be diced, but we'll probably dice the sides a lot better. So there's gonna be uneven amounts of green pepper in here, but you know, I don't know. I don't think I care. I think having different sizes of vegetables and things makes the dish a little more interesting. Okay, perfect. Here's our last of the green pepper. That was, for some reason, incredibly difficult to cut. That was like a super fresh pepper. It did not want to bend in any other way besides being a pepper. So we're just going to go ahead and heat these for 8 to 10 minutes until they're soft. I'm going to crank the heat back up to like a medium heat and stir the guys around. So it's been maybe a little under 10 minutes, but everything is getting pretty soft in there. So we're going to go ahead and move on. We need to add in 4 cloves of garlic that we've minced, which of course means we're bringing out the minced garlic. I almost bought garlic cloves to mince, and then I said to myself, why? I don't want to. So we are going to guesstimate, and I'm going to say that that's more than 4 cloves of garlic, but I'm not mad at it. And we're going to go ahead and stir this in until the garlic is fragrant. It says it's going to be like about a minute. I have to say, like, I know I'm in the mood for chili, and this is definitely not a chili that I normally make. The chili that I make, everybody's going to laugh at me, but it has like the can of tomatoes and stuff in it. But I also put in a jar of salsa. I put in a jar of paste salsa. I think that comes from an old neighbor. I don't actually remember. But anyways, that's what I used to make my chili, and I love it. So I'm really interested to see how this one comes out. The garlic, it's smelling great. It smells like garlic. I don't know if it's been exactly a minute or not, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. So then we're going to add in ground beef. This is the ground beef I got. We were supposed to use a pound. This is once again a little over a pound. It is what it is. But let's go ahead and just dump that right in. And then I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, so hands are washed. We've got this on medium heat still. And the book says to cook this for 10 to 12 minutes, stirring occasionally, breaking up any big chunks of beef until the beef is no longer pink. So that's what we're doing. We're just going to slowly stab at it. Okay, so our meat is done. It's no longer pink. We get to go ahead and add back in our stew beef. And then I'm just going to sit this plate in the sink because that's pretty gross. I've turned the heat to low for right now because there are a couple things we need to do. We need to add in a tablespoon of ground cumin. So here's my cumin. And we're just going to eyeball a tablespoon, maybe a little more. There we go. We need 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder. So here's my chili powder. We all know and love. Is there any other kind of chili powder? I don't know, but this is definitely the one that I use. Did we think that was 1.5 tablespoons? Oh, no. Oh, yes, no. This is chili powder. I read it really quick as cayenne, and I got super scared that I just added that much cayenne. I didn't. If you had onion powder, this is where you would add a tablespoon. I didn't, but I think the extra onion we have isn't going to hurt. And now we need 3/4 teaspoon of cayenne. So here we go. Just a little bit of cayenne. Oh, can you imagine if we added a tablespoon and a half of this? That would be that would be the spiciest chili. I don't normally go for chili that spicy. We need 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is the tomato paste I always use. I just like how it's in the tube. I think it lasts longer. and it's easier to save. Oops. There we go. Let's call that 3 tablespoons. These measurements are probably all over the place in reality, but it's chili. Like, I don't think you have to be super precise. We are going to add in some diced plum tomatoes that I'm going to dice right now. These are our plum tomatoes. It doesn't say anything other than diced plum tomatoes, so I don't know why I did that. Why did I cut off the end? The root. That's why. I don't think we really want that. I don't know for sure, but that's my guess. Okay. So here we go. These are cut. Let's go ahead and I'm going to do big dices on these. Here is our diced plum tomato. Get that all in there. Okay, let me read real quick. Okay, that's the end of our cutting board. So we have our plum tomatoes in there. Now we need to add in a can of diced tomato. So here's our can of diced tomato. It doesn't say to drain it. It's a 20-ounce can is what we need to use. So I just bought, store brand. I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. And then, that's all tomato paste. I thought that was an extra tomato. Oh boy. Sometimes you just got to take 2 more seconds to look at something, right? And then we need to add in 1.5 cups of water, which I pre-measured, so I'm proud of myself. And an ingredient I've never worked with before. We need this roasted beef base. The recipe just says beef base. We need 2 tablespoons of it. I got Better Than Bouillon, found it right in the store. I don't think I've ever paid attention to what these cans are. We all know, well, I don't know if we all know, but I know Better Than Bouillon as the bouillon cubes. But this is beef base, which is like a liquid. It's, from what I understand, it's a more concentrated beef broth. And we need 2 tablespoons of this. So I've got my tablespoon out. And we're just going to throw in 2 tablespoons. Let's do a heaping tablespoon since not all this stuff came on that. And call it a day. I'm just going to, if we rinse it up. Nope, that didn't go well. Let's just take it out with our finger. Oh boy. Okay. I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to wash my hand really quick. Who knew that the Better Than Bouillon beef base would take me down? Sometimes it's the ingredients you don't think. So we've got all that in there, and now we're just going to bring this to a simmer. And then once it's at a simmer, I'm going to cover it, and we're going to go ahead and boil this. Well, simmer over low heat, not boil. We're going to simmer over low heat for 3 hours. So we're basically pretty much finished. We got one more step after that, but I gotta say, so far, this smells fantastic. So it has been just at 3 hours. We've had this, what's it called? Chili simmering. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. It smells fantastic. I can't lie. I don't really know what I expected, but I'm gonna go ahead. We've had this on low for the 3 hours, so it should be fine. It's a little more watery than I guess that I'm used to having chili be. But that's okay. I don't know. I don't know what to expect for this one. And I guess that's what I'm comparing it to the chili that I make, and my chili is a lot more dense. But I'm also not like a soup person. I prefer a stew or something over that. So we'll see, but we are going to go ahead and add some beans to this. We need to add a can of pinto beans. These are the pinto beans. They are washed and dried. I think it says we need a 14.5 ounce can. I found a 15.5 ounce can, so I went ahead with it. But I went ahead, I washed these, I dried these, I let them sit for a little while. And now we're going to stir these in. And we're going to leave this uncovered, and we're letting this simmer for about 10 minutes while the beans heat up and, I guess, cook? I don't know. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get ready with our garnishes. So we can garnish with cheddar cheese, we can garnish with a tomato. I also like to garnish with like some fresh onion, so I'm going to cut up some onion. We just won't. We'll try it without the onion first. That's what we'll do. Um, but I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Just kind of take my tomato and chop it into little bits. I don't think I've ever topped chili with tomato. It's always been onion. And I'm trying to think what else, but I think I only do onion. I just do onion and cheese. I don't really do chili and sour cream. That's not something I do together a lot of times. But I'm not opposed to it. I know, like, I get that that's a flavor combo, right? There we go. There's our tomato. So I'm going to cut the end off my onion. I'm going to cut it in half. I just have like a smaller onion here. And I know that, the recipe called for a small onion, but we didn't have onion powder. So I thought using a big onion was fine. Go ahead. I'm just going to peel off. And I'm really just dicing this. So it's not like anything interesting's happening. I just want this on top. There we go. So yeah, I'll see you guys. I guess the next step is, because once this is done simmering, we get to try it. So really, I'll see you when we try this. It's going to be delicious. And just like that, we're finished. I'll show you the bowl of chili as best I can. I realize I put it in too high of a bowl. But that's mostly because after I'm done with this, I have cornbread from Costco. Those like, what are they actually called? Corn muffins that are really good that I'm going to go ahead and eat with this. So I've got it in kind of a big bowl for that. But this is what our chili looks like. Let's go ahead and see if we can find a bite that's going to be slightly cool. I've got the cheese in there. I've got the sour cream. I've got the tomato. Okay, so maybe this is our bite. This is our first go-to bite. I think it's going to be a little hot. But we'll try it. We'll try it. I'm going to try it with the big piece of beef, too. I'm going to try it with my onions. Okay, so you know what I realized I forgot to add that I've taken some time to add was I forgot to add pepper to this. Nowhere in the recipe does it have you add salt or pepper. It says to do so at the end, which I just kind of forgot because I'm hungry. And that's my downfall. That's why I like to season as I go. Partially because then I remember to do it, and partially because then it's kind of ready to eat. So I added some salt, I'm added some pepper, and it's better. But it's just not my favorite chili. And I don't know if this is kind of a meatloaf situation where, you know how some people make a meatloaf and it's like your favorite meatloaf, and then you go to a restaurant and it's just like okay meatloaf. That's kind of how I feel about chili. Like, I like the chili I make a lot. I like other chilies, but I think this one needs more ground beef, less of the stew beef. I think the stew beef is kind of weird. It's not that it's not good. It's very good. And it just kind of melts in your mouth. But I think I want a chunkier, and maybe chunkier is not the right word, but a thicker chili. Is this good? Yes. Is it my favorite? No. The ingredients, so easy to find. I didn't have trouble finding any of the ingredients. Nothing was like super costly. The beef was a little expensive, but I'm sure you can get a better price somewhere else. I wasn't even looking at price. I just kind of bought what I bought. And so I know like I could have been better. The recipe is super easy to follow. I think, having it sit for 3 hours definitely builds some flavor that like maybe the chili that I make doesn't. But I think it needs double the ground beef almost. And that's me. That's just me. I know that. I think this is a solid 7. I'm going to go with 7 just because it is. It's just not my favorite chili. I think it's fine, but it's nothing special. So that's kind of where we are. I'm not mad that I have it. I'm going to eat it. and I'll have it over the next couple days, and I'll probably freeze some to have, but it could be better. So there's that. That's my personal opinion. I do feel like this is one of those things you're either going to really like it or you're going to feel like I feel about it. Like, it's good, but it could be way better. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.